Horst gives the fans in the truck plenty to look at as he pulls up alongside over in turns 3 and 4. Gets you the starting grid set. 14 cars have answered the bell. They made their way in to the Diamond of Dirt tracks. Here to put on a show for you 25 times around. And Larry Ferris, can anybody beat the man from Nevada who has just been on a tear and has been leaving the field behind him? He will start on the pole with Joe Walkenhorst to his right-hand side. J.C. Morton's from Springfield, Missouri. He starts inside row number 2. Dylan McCowan to his right-hand side. Dylan in that throwback number 8. Dalton Imhoff from Jamestown, Missouri in the 96 starts inside row number 3. Lane Ellert out of O'Fallon in 6th. Row 4 has Caden Klatt and Tucker Cox. Caden is out of Edina. Tucker from Jefferson City. Brian Allison and Larry Jones back in row 5. Bob Cummins and Dustin Hodges having a tough time getting that car dialed in for the first time behind the wheel of the late model. And William Bolden and Jason Civils all the way back in row 7.
Hey, man, how about our music man Ronnie pulling double duty tonight, playing the tunes? Did you notice when you were introducing the cars, he was going row by row through the field for the video board? It was nice. Looked good. All right, so they are stacked up 2 by 2 by 2, $1,000 on the line, 25 times around. And your 2 heat race winners from earlier tonight will set the pace here as Ferris, who is always fast in the 51, will try to run away from Joe Walkenhorst. Dylan McCowan immediately with the nose inside. 3 cars, 4 cars spinning around in the Boone's Barbecue Barn caution comes out. Now 4 cars parked in the middle of turn number 2. J.C. Morton, Dalton Imhoff, Brian Allison among them. And Shane, that kind of started in front of that group of cars. They were kind of left in the wake of destruction, if you will, as Dylan McCowan had gotten inside the 90 of
the Striegel.
Yeah, he's going to have to be there to pull it from my kung fu grip. Larry Ferris and Joe Walkenhorst ready to go back at it again. 25 laps on this one. Haven't gotten one in yet. The prolonged yellow after the 4 cars got collected in turn number 2. Ferris and Walkenhorst will set the pace under the lights here at Lucas Oil Speedway Public Safety Appreciation Night. We hold our breath. Everybody gets through turn 2 that time clean. Larry Ferris flies to the top of the racetrack. Dalton Imhoff gets unhappy, and now trouble further back in the pack. Larry Jones, Mr. Alice or Mr. Marshall again. Tucker Cox momentarily involved in it. Able to pull away, though. And Jason Civils in the 0X, I believe the other car involved, as the Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew has to get to work again and hustle over to turn number 4. Ferris will see the field stack up behind him. Late models having a hard time letting loose here. J.C. Morton and Joe Walkenhorst behind the 51 of Ferris. Imhoff and McCowan behind them. $1,000 on the line. We'll see if Ferris can fly away from the pack this time and get a couple of green flag laps in. Good restart for J.C. Morton in the 72. He's about the only one that goes stride for stride with Ferris. Dylan McCowan now will get around the 90 of Walkenhorst as McCowan starts to march toward the front. Again, Shane, just a couple of weeks into young Dylan's education in driving a late model. Walkenhorst gets squirrely. That opens the door now for Lane Ellert. Ellert becomes the number 4 driver on the pylon. Then Tucker Cox moving up as well as Walkenhorst going wide through 1 and 2, and he just kind of left the kitchen door open and everybody came running through.
all the way back mid-pack now, and the run that J.C. Morton is putting on right now to stay with the 51, his corner entry considerably better than his exit. He is able to get right up with the 51, but he's not really able to carry that momentum. About the only way he's going to be able to do it is if he's able to pull off a slider, and I'm not sure how clean it'll be whenever he does pull it off.
The 72 of J.C. Morton, the Moon Brothers Racing, Sedalia Electric Motors, Starline Brass entry for the driver that nobody passed more cars in the B-Mod feature than J.C. Morton. 11 cars did the standout from Springfield, Missouri wheel his way around, but you know what he's doing that a lot of people often don't, Shane, and that is not letting Larry Ferris boat race him. Right now, as Ferris rolls underneath the flag stand, the advantage is only 3/4 of a second right now between the 51 and the 72.
And he's been able to catch up and get the nose inside of Larry Ferris. There's two cars that look alike coming up right here. Be very careful.
That is the 00 making its way around the racetrack. That is Billy Bolden. The 51 of Ferris isn't going to linger around him long enough to confuse me. He is going to fly to the top of the racetrack to make sure that another Sturgis Streeter incident does not occur. Ferris fast around the racetrack again, back to the bottom, and now Shane starting to extend the advantage he has over J.C. Morton. 1.2 seconds the difference that time. And now Tucker Cox has to jump to the bottom of the racetrack to get around Bolden, who seems to be bouncing around in the 00 quite a bit. And we saw that in the heat race as well.
Yeah, Billy Bolden is pinballing all over the place, and drivers literally holding their breath just trying to get around the 00 right now. And Dustin Hodges had to not only hold his breath, but had to hold the brake pedal to keep for rear end of the 00.
Larry Ferris putting cars down lap after lap. The Bob's Auto Shack 6 goes a lap down. Ferris will fly to the outside and work around Jason Civils in the 0X. Dylan McCowan now, the man on the move, as he tries to cut off the nose of the Moon Brothers 72. They bounce off one another, and JC jostles around and gets his position back. McCowan stands on it, but it'll be Morton by a nose as they come back to the flag stand.
Battle for second, Corey. If you remember about 3 short years ago, those were two B-Mod drivers that were going at it each and every week, and typically it was J.C. Morton that would get the better of Dylan McCowan, but now Dylan, with that hot rod number 8, able to get out in front and make the pass and work up to second, trying for his second consecutive runner-up finish.
If you weren't with us a couple of weeks ago when Dylan brought that car out for the first time, we talked to his mom and dad, and this was the fulfillment of his grandfather's dream. He had always wanted to see his grandson Dylan drive in a late model. Shane mentioned it earlier, Jesse Stovall, the Undertaker, helping the family to put that plan into action and bring the car to the racetrack. And right now, he has scored in second place for the second time in as many races in his limited late model career here. And he has cleared J.C. Morton now by a considerable distance. Larry Ferris enters turn number 1 as McCowan comes out of turn number 4. It is a 4-second lead now for Larry Ferris as he fires off down the backstretch, trying to get around Billy Bolden and the 99 of Larry Jones. Ferris tucks in behind the 99 and then goes right back to the top of the racetrack. An early end to Dustin Hodges' night in a late model, Shane, as the 3 pulls onto the infield.
Yeah, talking about the setup with them earlier on this evening, didn't quite know how much they were going to be able to run here as it was an underpowered motor, and Dustin Hodges' car expired. Talk about an underpowered motor. That's also something on Dylan McCowan's car. Whenever they came out for practice, he was running laps, was flat-footing it, putting together some good laps, and his dad asked him, what do you need? Yeah, I saw that too. What do you need? And just
bigger
said,
engine.
Bigger engine. And you got to think if he's able to get that, he might be able to have something for Larry Ferris, who, oh, by the way, nearly a half a lap lead now.
Well, what he doesn't have is enough to keep Dalton Imhoff from passing him. The black and blue 96, the Imhoff construction ride now on rails as it rolls through the middle of turn number 4, puts McCowan back to position number 3. Imhoff takes the inside line, McCowan the outside line as they will try to split around the lap car of Billy Bolden. Tucker Cox trying to follow the leader as well as the 1T will drive to the bottom of the racetrack with the aid of McCowan. Bolden squirrely again, but able to line it out. Back to the inside now, and Ferris just flying around the racetrack. 4.6 seconds was the lead the last time by, as he'll get the sign for 2 laps to go.
And I'm wondering if they're going to check for the nitrous bottle somewhere in Dalton Imhoff's car. He was 5th and 6th repetitively for 17 laps, and then he's up to 2nd.
Like he was shot out of a cannon. Dalton Imhoff trying to hold back Dylan McCowan. McCowan gets a nose under him, but Imhoff will have the spot as they fight for one more lap. But there has been no fight in the front of the field. Once we got through all the cautions, it was another 51 run away. Larry Ferris will take home the top spot, and at the line, Dalton Imhoff, Shane, able to edge out a good run for Dylan McCowan, who was looking for a second straight runner-up finish to start his late model run, but instead he gets shuffled back to 3rd, Tucker Cox in 4th, and Brian Allison in 5th. That rounds out your top 5, but Larry Ferris, a winner